Kiva Geiger, mindset coach, author, and speaker. I've got a new book coming out next year teaching you how to network and make a friend in 5 minutes in a business professional environment. Today, I've been doing a lot of podcasts, speaking with a lot of leaders in the Tacoma area. And one that's actually been a phenomenal friend of mine, Ejay, has taken the time out of his busy schedule to converse with me on a couple things. We're going to be talking about mindset when it comes to entrepreneurship. We're going to be talking about our faith and how important that is to us and why you should dig deeper into it as well for yourself. And we'll talk a little bit about AI and just some personal growth. The goal behind this is to not only inspire you as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, but to make you a leader in everything and anything that you decide to put your hands on in what you do. So without further ado, I'll let the man introduce himself.
Stoked to be here. What's up, Kiva?
What's up, man? How are you, dude?
I'm doing good. My name is Ejay O'Donnell, 38, from Tacoma, Washington. I got a wife of now 13 years, been together almost 20.
Mm-hmm.
2 kids, 2 girls, 11 and 6. I'm loving life right now.
That's good, man.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Thanks.
Yeah. Love and life is a very important thing, especially when, so much is happening around us.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah. And one thing that I've really appreciated in our relationship, man, is you've always really followed your heart in a lot of the things you've done, even been very vocal and very vulnerable about it. And that vulnerability has given you massive credibility in different verticals. The one thing that was really sticking about today for me specifically was you do a lot of different things. And I noticed that a lot of entrepreneurs and business owners will try to find excuses, right?
Yeah.
But damn, Ejay, you don't make excuses, my guy. You've got a full-time job. You've got a business that you run. And then you got a full family at home. And you do these things, obviously, from the outside perspective, it has this, image, right?
Sure.
And I wanted to talk a lot about that, man, if you were open to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I learned, I don't remember where I heard it, but, it takes the same amount of energy to make an excuse as it is to put in the effort. And so I just kind of collected this mindset of like, I'm allergic to excuses. It's like, why would I make an excuse for something? It's like I'm choosing. I actually have the word choices tattooed on me. I'm choosing to put in the effort to the things that I'm doing. There has been a point in time in my life, though, that I was doing too much. Like I was actually spreading myself so thin. And even from the outside in, it almost appears that I'm probably doing too much already in itself. And that's debatable. But I'm doing the exact things that I want to do now, where before I was just kind of dabbling in so many different things. And I actually got to the point where I was like spinning so many glass plates that, things started to fall and break. And so it took a lot of learning and trial and error to like really dial in of the things that I actually really wanted to do. And it was like all about like my health, my family, and doing things that are going to help or inspire people, so community driven things. And that's what I'm finally, after 40 years, get to do. I think I might have introduced myself at 38, but I've been in Tacoma for 38 years, but I'm in 40. So I just realized that. But yeah, I just like, I just learned over time that it just takes so much effort to make excuses. And then, of course, you do what you say and say what you do. And if you keep finding a reason not to do something, or say you're going to do something and not show up, your credibility goes down. And your reputation really does matter. And so if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And that also comes with the side of saying no to things, because I'm not going to commit to something that I know that I will probably not fail at, or maybe not follow through with the way that I should. Because it's also, if you ask me to do something and I say yes, I'm committed to that. And if I fall short of that, then I'm not giving you my all. And those are things that I really are considerate of now, because I have failed in those areas where I said I'm going to do something, didn't get to it whenever, found a reason why, and it was always bad. It always turned out bad, and then I let people down, and it's like I don't like that feeling, And so I just adopted this mindset of just not making excuses, and if I say I'm going to do something, do exactly what I'm going to say. But that also, again, comes with that whole power of no thing of, I'm going to say no to a lot more things than I say yes to now. But I think I've finally, after 40 years, figured that out, because I said yes to a lot of things that I fell short on. But now it's like I'm kind of designing my life around the things that are the most important. That's starting with God, myself, my family, and then business, money, and all the other things beyond that. Because if I'm not healthy, I don't have a good relationship with God, I don't have a good relationship with my wife and my kids, then, the success of business doesn't even matter at that point. So, yeah, it's been a lot of trial and error.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've kind of said a lot when it comes to, like doing the things that worked and then understanding like what didn't work, or, like I like to say, don't serve you.
Yeah.
Right. But the one thing that's like very consistent in what you're saying, and I really appreciate, is it's like, I guess this is more of a question for you, man. It's like, do you ever feel the pressures of the world, managing all of these things, and like struggling with it, right? But how do you show up as EJ, right? Because the one thing that's really key to you, and I think anyone who's listening and knows EJ, you're a very consistent human being, and it takes work to be that way of being. And I know faith plays a lot into it, but like, how do you show up, man? Like, what's the...
Oh, I'm going to be full of quotes today. It's like, if you don't think every day, today's a good day, try missing one. That quote. Early on in my life, I lost a lot of friends to a lot of different reasons. Suicide, murder, car accidents, health issues. And that impacts you quite dramatically. And you start thinking about the things that they don't get to show up to. It's like, I get to wake up and still live, here on earth. And it's like, why would I allow myself to waste a day? Because there is so much negative stuff out in the world that is getting just perpetuated so heavily on social media and everywhere else. And it's like, if I can be at least a little glimmer of light and hope, because that's how I want to exist too. I want to enjoy myself, but I also really believe that I'm not in control of all the things like God is. And giving that, when I finally surrendered to that, finally, and it was like only like 5 years ago that I was really just like, I can't do this by myself. I think I can. I'm trying to do all these things, but I'm like, nope. There's a bigger plan for me, and it's not by my design, and I have to surrender to it. And I did. And now I truly understand the things that happen or don't happen are for me, not to me. Mm-hmm. And it allows me to have this peace and comfort knowing, like, if I don't get my way on something, or maybe something doesn't happen the way that I want it to, it's by design. And it's been proven over the course of my life. It's like, I left a career after 15 years thinking like that was the end all be all for me, and it wasn't. And it was actually a stepping stone to the next thing. But at the time I was like, why is this happening to me? Mm-hmm. It's like, well, no, it actually happened for me. And that comes with all the things, the good, bad, and indifferent that happen in life. And so, I just, again, kind of go back to the choices of how you show up. It's like, I choose to smile. I choose to enjoy the bad. And trust me, I have bad days. Mm-hmm. Like, everyone has bad days, and I try not to, like, that's my choice to, like, if I show that, it's like, I got to deal with that between myself and I, but, I'm not going to perpetuate my bad day onto somebody else. Yeah. Because they might be having a bad day. If anything, I'm going to try to share a smile and try to uplift them. And there's just the power of, like, the law of attraction. What you put out is what you get back. And if you're putting out negativity or excuses, you're going to get that back from other people. But if you put out positivity and accountability and discipline, those are the people that you're going to surround yourself with, and everything around you continues to grow. So whatever you're focusing on is expanding, and it's proven over and over again. If you focus on the positive, you're going to get more positive, because that's what you're looking for. And I don't know the scientific, verbiage around it, but like when you think about a white car, I'm like, I really want a white car. And all of a sudden you see white cars everywhere. Well, it's because that's where you're focused on. And the same thing works with how you talk to yourself, how you show up, how you, interact with other people. And it's not being delusional either. Like, trust me, like, being realistic and delusional have a balance, but in between there is just like positivity. What's the worst that could happen? A good thing?
Yeah. I like good things. But at the same time too, I love that analogy that you brought up where, I think it's a really big point to actually just to make of, right? So we all have this unconscious ability of hyper-focusing on specific things.
Right.
So it's like when you think about the car that you drive and then you close your eyes, it's like then you open it and then you jump in your car, you start to see all these, copies of your car. So essentially your mind has a way of attracting and seeing those things.
100%.
But instead of, like you mentioned before, using the laws of the mind, right? Instead of using it on inanimate objects, like, use it on things that are purposeful in your life, right? Like in business, in friends, in relationships. And you start to see what you want more clearly, because goes back to like, are you clear on what you want?
Yep.
And, the actions and the steps that you need to take to create it. I think to me, like that's so important, again, like getting that clarity. But that also really brings me to, because I'm a strong believer in my faith. Like I praise my mom for the upbringing that I got and how God has played a significant role in everything. And I like the concept of what you mentioned. It's, sometimes things happen and then we get upset. Like
Right.
you can't get upset at God just because something goes this way. It's not like supposed to be only good things happen and then we're happy. We have to learn these life lessons that give us permission to like that next chapter.
Right.
And, your evolution, I think like anybody, is very inspirational, because it's like you've done it. You've been through the experiences. So it's inspiring in that way. But it's also a roadmap to show people like crumbs of success on what they can personally do and how they can actually personally change, right? The faith element, like how pivotal is that to you?
I mean, it starts and stops there, because we're not even, we wouldn't even be existing without our creator, so to think that we just die and fall into nothing would be kind of silly, because we have to start from somewhere, and we're ultimately the goal here is to get into heaven. But you have to build that trust and you have to build that faith along the way. And it's been an up and down. I've never even talked about this like publicly, but my relationship with him, has been up and down. I've always believed in God, but we didn't frequent the church often as a kid. But as I got older and really understood life a little bit better, and also did my research, like actually studied it a bit more, it's like there's so much more to life than just what we're doing here on earth and our purpose for us being here. And it's really interesting because once I really understood that, and you can put facts to it, you're like, this actually happened. Like Jesus died on the cross and rose again. Like this really happened. There's the actual historical facts that bring this to truth. So you can't even argue the fact. And so, once that really like set in and I understood it, not just in my mind, but in my heart, it just changed the way I looked at everything. And that a lot of people are on their journey, to try to figure that out. And I think that's the whole purpose of it, is to try to really understand there's things bigger than us. And it doesn't get any bigger than God and Jesus. And this is how we, everything flows through that now.
Yeah.
And it took a long time to get there too. But once I trusted that, and I truly actually, like, I kind of go back to like surrendering to it and like take the wheel, God, that's when I actually like really understood what that meant and how that felt. Cause I actually had a real relationship at that point, but it took 30 some years to do it, And so now everything I do, I pray before choices and decisions I'm making. I'm thanking God for waking up the next day. Everything is, praise to him at this point. And that is just my foundation at this. And so whatever happens from here on out, I just trust that it's part of the story and what, the gifts he's given me to hopefully inspire some people. And I truly understand him now. And so that's, again, another reason why I wake up just happy to be here, and being impactful, because he's given me this opportunity to do that. And I'm lucky to have that. I have my health. I have great people around me. Without your health, I've been very fortunate with really good health. And so that alone says something. It's like I have to use that for good, to spread the gospel and the word. And I'm learning how to do that better.
Yeah, no, that's actually really well said, man. Like faith is such a important piece to every aspect of my life, and understanding how he communicates with us. It's unique to us, right?
Yeah.
And appreciating the lessons as they come in, and not being in like judgment of like, why are these the cards that I've been dealt, but really looking at it as like, this is the blessing that I've been given, and there's something meant for me to learn through this experience. And I just love like going so deep into that space, and like with either meditation or like prayer, and I think it's like I can always put my own personal opinion. I think most people need to know more about it, and do the research and to, be vulnerable, be excited learning something completely different in a way that might actually really change your life, and not all of us will have that same experience. Like,
Sure.
you and I grew up in that way, but, if you're looking for something like that, there is this thing called the Bible.
The Bible is a must read. It's,
Yeah.
and I'm still learning to read it and understand
sure.
it. And I
Yeah.
come back to it, and then I put it down for a week, and then I come back to it. It's an
Yeah.
ever evolving journey, but it is literally the roadmap.
It reminds me of that saying. It's like faith is the currency of the universe.
Yeah.
Like without faith, right? What do we have?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
So we need, it's almost like this story's been perfectly written for all of us in our own unique way with our own experience to conquer something, right? Like the hero's journey to then
Right.
become the person that we need to be, not only for ourselves, but the people around us. And it's great to be around people that are taking chances on themselves.
Right.
Like you have taken chances. Like your risk tolerance to me is quite impressive, my friend.
Thank you for saying
Yeah.
that. It feels like my base. I don't know anything different.
Dude, that's savage, right?
I mean, I do think it stems back from like this weird adrenaline rush because of graffiti back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was obviously a graffiti artist. Actually, not obviously. That was where I really just enjoyed, knowledge building and the craft of graffiti, and then also going out and painting graffiti. And it was always a risk, and I enjoyed it, but I also understood the consequences of it. So like I definitely tapered back once I got to a certain point.
Yeah.
But I still enjoyed the risk aspect of life. But then also understanding it's like risk and reward, but it's like and then you add the death of friends and stuff in there. You realize how short life is.
100. Yeah.
It's like you have such a small window. Even if we live for 100 years, like how long has the world been here? We're like this microscopic little tiny dust ball. We get such a short time here.
Such a short time.
It's like you got to maximize it as much as you can and use the gifts that we've been given. But otherwise, my risk tolerance is so interesting these days.
It is. I mean, it's like reminds me of like Bob Proctor. He's like, life is risky. He's like everything is risky. And so, like that, his voice and the way that he said it is true. It's risky if you don't do anything.
Yep.
But it's even riskier, for you to take a chance on yourself and just to see what faith in a belief of a dream, right?
Right.
And I remember like way back, dude, and you were doing, you were spinning all the plates. Like you were taking a risk here, taking a risk there, trying to figure out what it was going to be. You removed yourself, and I remember like, like I'll say it sometimes, like you are definitely the master of no. Like you have your boundary, which a lot of people are really good at saying yes. And saying yes is not always the right thing. I think we were talking a little bit before this. You gave a great quote about, and I'll let you speak on that one. But the consequences of doing too much, the consequences of like not understanding like the risk level. I think to me, like how I position risk is it's preparation, execution, all happening at the same time, and then the luck kind of pops into place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so what you've done is like very risky things. Like you have a really good job. You started a company from nothing with a couple buddies. You took a risk in trusting them, and that they would be accountable to showing up to help build something bigger than you and bigger than everybody. And it's like that level of risk. I think a lot of times we don't understand, like, how do we position ourselves to be in a place to take a risk, to see the opportunity? But no one knows how many times Ejay went out there and, what was the scorched earth Ejay before he took the risk with Dad Gang?
I mean, I skipped college. Like I knew in my gut, I walked into 2 different colleges and was like, this is not for me. I knew it. I like wasn't a great student by any stretch in high school. I think I was like a C student. I don't even remember what my GPA was. That's how much I didn't really care, I guess, to a degree. Skipped college, went right into building a business with a good friend of mine, and I was all business. And so whatever I put myself into, it's like I'm going to go all in on it. But when you get to a certain point, and you start affecting your relationships and your health and the things because of work, that was a hard lesson to learn, because I put everything ahead of my health. I put everything ahead of my family, my faith. Everything was like, oh, I got to stay a little bit later because I need to answer the emails, blah, blah, blah. And over time, that compound effect, I mean, as I sit here today, I'm 170 pounds. But just 6-7 years ago, I was like 210, 220, because all I would do is just eat junk and email all day, because that's the scorched earth Ejay. Like, I was not doing, it wasn't balanced. It wasn't anything. It was like just grind until I die, because I thought the financial outcome would outweigh. It's like, I can catch up on my health. I can catch up on all the other stuff. But like, that's not the case. I was living a life of misalignment. And so in that process, I learned, and Kevin Sturdivant.
Yeah.
I ended up everyone I've ever met that has been so impactful has been through some sort of like professional relationship. And so I ended up meeting Kevin Sturdivant back in like 2000, gosh, it was probably like 2007 or 8. And he was not even from Washington. He's from California. We just connected and bonded through some things that he was doing and some work that we shared. And he taught me this thing called the 7 equities. And it was in specific order: mind, body, soul, family, friends, business, money. It's like a calibration tool. It's like mind, body, soul, that's me. And then family, because obviously that's the most important part. So mind, body, soul is, obviously mind. What are you consuming? What are you creating? All the things. Body, how are you taking care of yourself? Your soul is your relationship with God. Anything that fills your soul at that point, that's me. Like, how do I show up every day? And then it's my family, then it's social, and then business and money. And if you can actually create some sort of alignment there, the money flows like to you, like with the path of least resistance. I was flipped. I was like business, money, social, family, blah, blah, blah. And I was at the bottom, and it showed like dramatically. And so to use your term, scorched earth Ejay, like, I was way overweight, unhealthy. All I cared about was working to ensure that I'm not going to let this thing slip away, because this is all I knew from like high school on. And it broke me. I mean, it literally broke me. I was driving from 6 a.m. to get to the office, and I wouldn't leave until 6 p.m., sometimes later. And that created just not a good life. I mean, I was impacting my family, I was impacting my health. And that's where I really dove into the 7 equities to like really calibrate how I was living. And I was living so misaligned. And that's where Run Club came from. And Run Club, I don't know if we want to dive kind of on a left turn here.
Yeah. Like, that's where we're going, man. It's like you read my mind. Like
Jared Haviland, my brother-in-law, and I were both just communicating all the time. So talking about like brotherhood. So Bart and Grant, my best friends and partners in Dad Gang, like, we all like bonded through this 2016 to 2018 time. And that's when we all met. But like Jared and I specifically were talking about just different things. Like, where do we want to go in life? Like, he was just like my guy, we talked to about a lot of stuff. And then one day he's like, do you want to go on a run? I was like, no, not at all. But, like kind of going back to some quotes of like, all the good things happen on the other side of the work you don't want to do. You got to choose your heart and blah, blah, blah. And I think that year of 2018 was like the David Goggins year. It's like, just do hard things, and everything else becomes easy. So we're like, let's run at 7 or at 6 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. Like, that sounds terrible, like absolutely horrible. And I think we started in like March, so it wasn't like nice out. And so we went for this run and just talked the whole time about just life and everything. And it just created this like euphoric, like, that was great. Like, we talked, we ran, we did some for ourselves. Like, we knew how to get in shape. We just, with life hitting you in all different ways, you just don't know what to start with. And so we just wanted to do hard things, and maybe everything would become easier after that. And that's when Run Club kind of took its shape. But we didn't start out to start a run club at all. We started running together as like a accountability buddy to help us like kind of kickstart our health. And then ultimately that ended up turning into probably I would say it probably saved my life in multiple different ways, because of the accountability, discipline, the clarity of the things that I really wanted, the conversations we had. And then it was all of a sudden a lot of other people shared that same mindset of like, I need something to help me get out of this rut that I am in. And that's where Run Club was formed. And so that was a long-winded way away from your original question.
No,
but,
man, it was like such a great segue into it. Like I think about when it's so funny I remember when you approached me about Run Club, and I was like, I don't know about this. I don't know.
Yeah, running's
I
terrible.
was like, this is like, it's not what I'm looking to do. But what was really important to me at that time was being around like-minded individuals. I remember I was just super heavy on like just a lot of self-help books about like your circle of friends and like people to be around. And I was looking, I think it's just like, looking, you'll find it, right? And for me, it was about being around like masculinity, like guys that don't feel a competitive nature, or there's not something in that regard. It's just, how can I be a man and be myself around other guys that are doing this thing? Because, when it first started, it was a group of guys, right? All coming together and running. But that camaraderie and that consistency really pushed me. I mean, it pushed me so much that I actually did the LA Marathon.
That's right, man. That's so cool to hear, man.
So I appreciate you in a lot of different ways, because Run Club did save my life. I was going through a really bad breakup. I was thinking about things that I shouldn't have been thinking about.
Yeah.
It's very emotional to go back there. But I was going through some really, really hard things as a person and as a man, and trying to figure out like who I actually needed to be. And through running, I met Luke, which was great.
Yep.
Luke gave me this book called Running with Meditation. I read it a dozen times. I'd actually listen to the run when I'd be running, and it transformed how I ran, the reason why I ran. And I started thinking about your health is your wealth, like Ejay coming in, your health is your wealth.
Yep.
And that was to me, it's like contributing towards, you started something that was with such great intent about bringing people together to do a healthy activity in a space that wasn't doing those things already. When we have the most beautiful view, most beautiful place to run every morning at 7 a.m., 7:30 a.m.
7:30 now.
Yeah. But I go back to that moment in my life, and I think, and I contribute a lot of my growth is being consistent at doing something, and seeing you be consistent at showing up every Sunday, to know that I would see you there every Sunday. No excuses. You'd even bring your daughter if, like certain situations, she'd be on her bike. But it's like you found ways to be consistent. And for me, I saw that, and I was like, this is a person that I not only want in my life, but need in my life. And I really appreciate like how we've been able to connect over the years through the running and the opportunities it brought, and running to LA, meeting with Luke and Dee, and hanging out with that group of people. But that wouldn't have happened if it wasn't created with the proper intention for people to, come and be healthy, and you created that space unintentionally.
It was very much an accident, like to start a run club. But to your point, it was started with the intention to just get better. Yeah. Because I knew that if I wasn't going to become better for myself, I couldn't be better for my family, for my colleagues, then my kids, because they weren't, born. Oh, I guess Quincy was born, but like we wanted to have more kids, like I wasn't going to show up as my best self. Yeah. And if I'm not showing up as my best self, then I'm worthless to everybody. And it all started with me. I needed to, and we have, because we're close to the same age, we were taught like to be selfless. And if you focus on yourself, you're selfish. And it's like, well, you go in on an airplane and like, if you need to put on your air mask, put on your air mask first, and then you could help other people. Because if you can't breathe, you can't help anybody. And it's the same concept in life. It's like, if I'm not healthy and I'm not like actually grounded in the things that I care about, then I actually can't contribute to anybody else. So it really does start with yourself, but it starts with consistency and discipline, and then who you surround yourself with, like what you're consuming. Like there's so many layers to it, but it really does start with that. And I wasn't doing that for myself, and a lot of people weren't either, because we were taught to help others before you help yourself. And that concept doesn't change. It's just you can actually help people better after you give yourself an hour. Oh, we're talking in a 23-hour day. Give yourself an hour, not even an hour. You can give yourself 30 minutes to work on yourself. And now we're in a culture of like everything is self-help. People are putting themselves in timeout right now. I just saw the other day.
That's ridiculous.
That's crazy.
Man. That is crazy.
Here's your click. Yeah. People are actually putting themselves in timeout now.
Tell me more.
It's crazy. But yeah, like mental health is obviously like a big factor, and and then there's debates on strong men, weak men, all this stuff. And it's like, I want to show up the best version of a man that I possibly could be. And I get that from my dad. I learned it from God. I learned it from my friends on like what it looks like to show up as a man and what matters. It's not just to provide and protect, but it's to be present and actually to be there and to like really, really show up in a deep rooted way and, you know, lead with faith instead of just, you know, lead with ego. And a lot of people do. And so my intention of Run Club was to be better myself, and accidentally started it and it created like people also wanting to work on themselves. And it's like, let's just now create an environment that wants people to come back and uplifts their week. It's a good anchor. They're working on their mind, body, soul, and then everything else they can take back and be better for their family and their friends, and hopefully their business and finances continue to grow too. But it really does start back at that mind, body, soul level.
Yeah, I agree with you on that too. So EJ, man, mental health. I think it's a really big topic right now, especially with men. This year, someone we knew in the club ended up taking their life.
Yep.
And it's tough, dude.
It is. That isn't the first friend of mine that has committed suicide. Mm-hmm. And so that like brought up some like really old emotions for me. Just because you're like, you had all the conversations and you have no idea what they're going through.
No.
And I think that again kind of goes back to how I show up every day, because that individual, we don't need to name his name on the pod, but he showed up always willing to help others with a positive attitude, and you would never know that he was struggling somewhere, ever.
No, I didn't get that.
No. I mean, even at his memorial, I mean, nobody, like not a single person understood that man was hurting inside. And it sucks that the world broke him so hard that he felt like that was his way to go. And then you question, it's like, what could I have done differently? You know, maybe I could have said something or called or whatever. But man, you just never know what people are going through. And I keep saying this too, like I'm getting more vocal on this just because I think it's important. It's like, check on your strong friends.
Yeah, man.
You know, because like, just say what up, like just hit them up and like, how are you doing? Like, is there anything I can do? You know, just, or do you want to chat? Like, because a lot of times, and myself included, is we're in this chronic positivity mode or whatever like that. So from the outside in, it always looks like, you know, rainbows and unicorns and rose petals, because it's always the appearance of it looks easy, but you know, we're all human and we all go through good and bad days. And it's, you know, when you show up with consistent positive attitude does not necessarily mean you don't have bad days. But I think it is really important to check on your friends and give those hugs and handshakes and tell your friends and family you love them. Like, those little things could legitimately save someone's life, or at least prolong some decisions that they've been contemplating. But yeah, it was a really, really heartbreaking day for Run Club. You know, he came to Run Club for like 2.5 years, was a staple person, not only at Run Club, but just in the running community, also at his work. I mean, very well loved and respected. And, you know, mental health, like how do you you know, sustain positivity during like a time like this where there's so much coming at you at once. Mm-hmm. I can almost see the trends now of like what you hear about today is going to be gone in 2 weeks. And it's like this constant repetitive action of just something else bad, something else bad, something else bad. And so that is why I try not to consume as much. I try to create more. And then obviously I talk to my creator as much as possible, because it's like, if I'm consuming, it's taking from me. And it kind of goes back to like that adding and subtracting from your life. And it's like, if you're doing a ton of stuff in your life, you're putting unnecessary pressure on yourself. You know, there's a lot of things that people take way too seriously or consume themselves in. And I'm not saying that that's what happened with him. You can't escape it, including myself. There's so much coming at you at once, especially with our phones in hand, social media, the appearance of how people's lives are, comparisons. And it's like, if I don't compare myself to anything else, then it's just me, my family, and God that really dictate that at that point.
Yeah.
And gives it, some peace. And that's why I think it's really important to build your relationship with God, because I think there's so much more value there than just, what he can give you, but it's like, no, we are all children of God. Like, what can we give him? How can we serve him? And then in return, he actually gives us eternal life. Those are things that I think are just so missed on the surface level of earth, because we're so consumed with things that really don't matter here at the end of the day.
True. It can be very distracting, like you said, there's just so much already being thrown at us, and it becomes this filter of like, what are you letting in from, what you're looking at on your phone, to the music that you listen to, the conversations you're having.
Yeah.
And it goes really back to that whole perspective of, like, your mental health is key. It's the most important thing. And I think so much that when we're talking about men's mental health in particular, like doing activities like going to the gym,
Right.
working on your personal self, like finding ways to constantly keep developing this character, but being clear on who it is that you want to be. And if you're not clear on that, right, that's where the faith element comes into it, where then you ask faith and you ask God to guide you in that direction, and find people that are in alignment with where you want to be.
Right.
And that's, like why you and I relate to the running. It's like it saved our lives. Like I think about it all the time. Like, if I hadn't started running at that time and kept that health, like going into the pandemic, right? And still finding ways to run, like we still found ways to do it.
Yep.
And we still found ways to stay connected. And that friendship and that camaraderie and this brotherhood between you and I has been very healthy for me. And I think about that a lot too with the clients that I work with, because I work with a lot of guys too, like one-on-one. And I work with people that as well. And the element around mindset and mental health is just the key foundation, is like understanding what it is that you think about, what you think about. Like, what are those constant voices in your head? What are they saying? Or is it, like, I always like to help people describe them so you understand the characters in your mind.
Right.
It's like the three voices: the voice of other, the voice of fear, and then your higher self, your connection to God. And understanding how to be in tune with that voice more often, so then that you're listening to the right set of guidance in your life. But, I think, to me, it's so important going forward that you find through networking events, if it's paid networking, is usually the best networking in my personal opinion, and meeting people and not trying to prove yourself, but just to be genuine. And that has always worked the best, because when you're not trying to sell yourself to be somebody, but you're actually just yourself, you'd be surprised how many people will relate and connect with you.
Oh man, being your authentic self is the best thing you could ever do.
100%.
Yeah. Just be you. You were made in that image. Like, and to touch on that too, is like when you, a lot of men that are career driven, their identity gets rolled up into what they do, not who they are. And I was there at one point too, of like, I really had to strip back the layers of like who I was as Ejay, as the man, the human, not Ejay, the guy that makes your stickers or can connect you with somebody. It's like, you take all of this away, like, who am I? Who am I left? And it's like, what? Then you ask yourself the questions: what do you want to be remembered for? What's your legacy? Those are the things that really are more important. And then it draws back into that 7 equities to live in life least resistant. Your authentic self will allow you to live the life you're meant to. And all of that push for a healthy business and more finances typically will show up, because you're going to get rewarded for being your authentic self. I know you've probably been around people that you could tell, like, wow, that person's definitely not being themselves. They definitely are trying to be too cool or fake or whatever. And that's sniffed out so quickly. And it's like, no, don't do that. Just be you. Just be you. Because you were made to be you. And we want to love you for you. Like, just do that. And you'll find your people at that point. Like, just don't show up inauthentic, because it's not going to get you anywhere. And you can't keep that persona up at all. Like,
Can't, man.
No.
I'm having a flashback because that character broke for me when I was actually doing the LA marathon.
Oh, like during the marathon?
Yeah.
Whew.
Like,
That's a
literally mile 24, you hear all the voices of who you truly are. And then mile 25, I felt like I died. Like,
Wow.
I was that close to the finish, and I just felt like I died. It was like the worst feeling, because my headphones were dead. You can't listen to any. There's no more music right now. Nothing to hype you up at that point. Your body's in sheer pain, and it's telling you to stop at this point. But the only thing that's like running at 1,000 miles is just
Your brain.
exactly
Yeah.
self-reflecting on all the experiences, reliving those moments where, you have that flashback of that moment. You're like, ugh, why did I say that? Or why did I do that? All of that hit at one time. And it was like the rebirth coming out of it.
Dude, that's amazing to hear.
Yeah.
I encourage everybody to do a marathon at some point in their life
Yeah.
because of that struggle. Like, you really don't understand how capable you are until you do some things that are like really push you.
Yes.
And this really kind of ties into mindset too, because that whole time, like, your body hurt, but your mind's telling you to keep going. Like, I learned this early on in running, where your legs don't tell your brain to stop. Your brain tells your legs to stop. And so it's like, you can keep going. You can push yourself further. You can look at something half mile ahead and it's like, I need to get there. And you'd go to like dark places running too. You're like, okay, if I stop running before that point, something bad's going to happen, So you like convince yourself to like push yourself a little further. You push yourself through struggle. I mean,
Yeah.
endurance racing or just any sort of physical thing, kind of back to like the how important the gym is and stuff. Like we need to go through struggle in order to really grow as individuals. You're not going to grow through a comfort zone. And to know that you kind of broke all the way down during a marathon, because that's not necessarily what it's intended for, but running really does open that onion up from a person of like pushing yourself, and it's like literally strips you down. Just you and those miles.
The raw thought, bro.
Man, it's crazy.
It is. But that's the benefit of it, is that on the other side is growth. And so every time I ran after that, there's this now, like we're talking about doing hard stuff. It's like you need to be doing hard shit all the time.
All the time.
All the time. It's a constant thing. And I think that to me is also a great representative of being a man.
Yep.
Is that I know I'm going to have to deal with hard stuff, but I'm not going to skid around it. I know that I have to show up and face up to it.
Right.
There's nothing that's going to kill you except for maybe the thoughts that you're thinking. But then those thoughts are just thoughts. They're not real.
No.
What's real is you and I in this very moment talking about the things that push us forward.
Right.
And so for me, it's like, keep doing hard shit,
And if you can, do it in the morning. Like, get up and do it in the morning, because that's going to be the hardest thing you do, is getting out of bed, going throwing some weights around. The iron never lies to you. Mm-hmm. 200 pounds is still 200 pounds, no matter how you feel. Get up and go run in the elements. Don't make excuses. Like, once you're done with it, man, you feel so victorious.
Oh, yeah.
You put your armor on, you kind of get through the struggle of the morning. Everything else beyond that should feel like a cakewalk, because you just physically and mentally put yourself through so much where you're like, the rest of the day is going to be easy now. Mm-hmm. I just lifted 1,000 pounds into my entire sets, like, or I ran 10 miles before 7 a.m. Everything's going to be easy at this point.
Yeah.
At least, mentally it feels that way.
For sure. I don't think I told you this when we were talking about last time, but when I was on my whole trip to Kenya, I actually had signed up for a marathon.
No, I didn't know this.
Oh, bro.
Wait, in Kenya?
Well, it was like before I left for Kenya.
Yep.
I signed up for a marathon, and my goal to do this marathon, I thought it was actually, I had an option of doing like a half.
Right.
Like I could just, I could run half and then exit out.
Got it. Yeah.
But I actually signed up for the full.
Oh.
And so I had zero training this entire year. I actually haven't, since the times that I've come to run club, like those handful of times through summer, but I've been traveling a lot, speaking and doing a lot of networking events. I didn't train at all.
For the long distance, yeah.
For the long distance. Yeah. And it's not to say this from a proud moment. Like, whenever you're running a marathon, like, like, God bless me, I got great genetics. I was in the gym prior to that, like 6 days a week. You know
you've
what I mean?
Been
like,
dedicated to that.
For sure.
Yeah.
So, like, my body was definitely prepared for that level of punishment. But I'll tell you, running a marathon with zero training and completing it, not the my best or prettiest time, but I got it done with no injury, was all mindset.
Yeah.
And it goes back to that thing you're mentioning of just, it's the legs. It was like I was telling myself that there's going to be things in my life that will be harder than this moment. So you can push through this. And that's why I'm so big into the mindset stuff. That's why I'm so big into the transformation of human beings, is that is possible through consistency of seeing yourself grow.
Right.
Yeah.
We've got some all-out reality TV going on right now.
We really do right now.
I have to change that real quick.
Is that in the?
No, not really.
That's.
I would change it back.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know how that happened.
No
That's
idea.
hilarious.
This to that one too.
That's amazing. Or you can even just turn it off too. It's
Yeah.
totally fine. Maybe the fear zone.
I have no idea. Is there a remote over there?
I can't wait for like the outtakes of this podcast. Oh, there. What?
I don't know.
We'll just give it a second.
All right.
There we go.
All right.
Perfect.
We'll just run with this for now.
No.
No, it's off.
All right, that's cool.
It is what it is.
To jump back into the mindset thing though is, or to do something like that with no training is, you did have training. You just didn't train specifically for that run. You know?
You want to know the real reason I did it?
I would love to.
Okay. This might sound off the wall, not your typical thing, right? But like stuff happens all the time.
Right.
Stuff that we're never prepared for. We don't know how to handle that level of stress. And when I was preparing for this, I literally just said to myself, like, if ish hit the fan and I had to run to save my life,
Facts.
do I have the mental capacity to push myself beyond my personal and mental limits to get there? That's the reason why I did it. It was a personal endeavor of like, do hard shit. Like, I'm going to go do something that most people would think is like literally like crazy, right? Like this is like, why would you put your body through? Because you think about a marathon is 26 miles of just running consistently without stopping. There's a moment I thought I was going to break. Not even kidding. I stretched my leg for a quick, brief second, and I knew if I stretched anymore, it would have locked up, and I would have been
done.
It would have been done, right? So then I pushed through that. The universe is beautiful, man. I have this test where I feel like stopping again. This guy I'm running with, me and him made really good. He's older Japanese guy. I had some characters on my shirt I was wearing, and he was reading it, and it was it was like, I can't remember what it specifically said, but he's just like, yeah, good. And then so he starts running. I watched this guy fall. Like I watched this guy fall and crack his head, like starts bleeding from his head. And I run up to like pick him up. I was like, you good? You need help? And he goes, no. He gets back up and he just starts running.
This is during the marathon?
This is during the marathon.
Wow.
This guy has like literal blood running down his face. Older guy. He's definitely got to be in his like 60s or 70s. But he just got back up like it was nothing. And then it was just like a catalyst of things, of emotions that I felt where I was like, well, I'm not going to stop running.
Yep.
Like that was the motivation that I needed to move forward. But it was just interesting how we have these moments in our life. And I think you've been through this as well too. And you've really shared it, of there's going to be stuff that's going to stop you, that's going to prevent you from doing it. But you have to keep the course and you have to stay true, you know?
Yeah, you got to kind of stay ready so you don't have to get ready.
Yeah.
Because life is unrelenting. It's not going to give up.
No,
like life is
100%.
going to continue to happen.
Yeah.
Regardless of whatever plan you put in place or goal you may have, it's going to derail. Like that is just how life is. Like you're not going to have this like A to Z perfect straight line.
For sure.
And so by doing the little things like getting into the gym 6 days a week, consuming good content if you are going to consume that, taking care of your body, like drinking water, eating like just kind of the best foods that you possibly can.
Yeah.
You were prepared for that. You just didn't train for that. And there's just a difference there, being prepared and training for certain things. Because, I mean, if you have a very specific goal for a marathon, you're going to train for it. You're going to prioritize the time. You're going to make the things happen. But you just needed that for yourself to get through and be like, I can still do this.
Yeah.
To almost like a barometer to measure like where you're at. Like, can I get up and go do this today?
I still got it.
Still got it.
I still got it.
Absolutely. And you
Yeah.
know, and that builds confidence, and that builds just resilience. And that also is like a motivator, because it's going to kickstart that next thing, just to give you a little reminder. And to your point on a marathon, after doing marathons, I decided to do a 70.3 half Ironman. And I am not joking, on the record here, that 70.3 was easier than a marathon. Dead serious.
Who are you, man?
And because it's broken up into disciplines, so swimming,
Yeah.
biking, running, running is so hard for 26 miles. I mean, that's like, I think most people don't finish a marathon under 4 hours. That's 4 hours of consistent running or walking. And even though in 70.3, I finished at 5 hours and 59 minutes. Very proud of that. And I was exhausted. But I was more sore after marathons than I was from a 70.3.
I agree.
because it's just different. And so it kind of creates like what's possible when you do the things that push you. And that translates into life in general of like taking risks and feeling confident in those things that you're doing. And it really does, you have to experience it. You have to go through it in order to grow through it. And if you didn't do those marathons, or if you didn't go and do that untrained marathon, you know, you gain so much from that perspective. And I encourage everyone to do that. I mean, and not everyone is fortunate to be injury free and stuff like that, but just do what you can. You know, you don't have to go run a marathon, but just go. If you don't run at all, run a mile, run 2 miles, run 3, and see what happens and build towards it, because that's just like life. You know, you're not going to go from like nothing to successful overnight. You have to incrementally build it, and you have to go through trials and tribulations, ups and downs. And then maybe one day it appears for, you know, the whole overnight success thing. It's like, oh, you woke up and you're successful. It's like, man, you didn't know the story to get here though. And all the late nights and all the tears and the struggles. And that's what a marathon brings out of you.
True. Yeah. We're all on this life marathon. It reminds me of two things. I was just coming from 2 events. One was talking about like running an activity, like how important that is for the heart and just in general, all that good stuff. But the key thing about it is just the movement. Like you probably see this a lot too. Like we're working with other entrepreneurs and other business owners, but they all have that same capacity of doing something. They all walk consistently. They find some way of like getting out into nature or experiencing that. The one that I really resonated with was, you know, if you live in a busy place or city, you know, our subconscious is constantly scanning the world of safety. And is there certain things, and you're interpreting so much information, but how can you recenter yourself for an entire day with just 10 minutes? And they talked about putting headphones on and actually listening to classical music or something with like a soothing sound that's just not at a high BPM. You know, I like high BPM music, but, you know, really like calming the nervous system down so then it can reset to then address any new obstacles you have coming your way. And I love the topic of technology.
Yeah.
And we're kind of in a really interesting time right now where, I mean, it's been out for a hot minute.
Right.
But AI is becoming...
It's here.
It's here.
Mm-hmm.
We cannot get away from it. It is everything that we have to actually incorporate it into our lives, is what I'm seeing as a business owner. And there's so many people that are talking about it. There's so many noise. I mean, you got Tony Robbins now. I mean, so... if Tony Robbins is now going to be holding his own seminar, he's going to usher a good group of his followers, his people, into this new AI with a different mindset and culture. But what are your thoughts on AI, Ejay?
You know, it's ever evolving, because it is like, it kind of depends on the application to a degree. You know, from like a design aspect, like AI is great. Generative, all the things, like it makes my design life so much easier. Recapping things because it's summarizing, it's taking notes. Like there's a lot of things that is helping. But then you get into the artificial intelligence of the robotics and the things like that are so beyond. It's so interesting because I see the value in it, but I also see people using it as a crutch to not push themselves. I'm maybe a little old school where I still like to do the hard things, you know, and I like to do the things myself. But now I'm getting to the point where I'm like, okay, this AI feature is like really nice to like accelerate a portion of my life. So the AI, man.
So I guess the question, you know, to kind of add to that then, it's like when it comes to all of these tools that we have with AI, what's the balance between Ejay and AI? Like what's that balance?
That's such a good. I'm still learning kind of that balance right now. And to be honest, I don't use AI as much as you may think right now. I'm in a good rhythm of the things that I'm doing, but I am definitely starting to integrate it into the daily tasks of things. Where I think it's going to get interesting is like when robots are in your house and cleaning your house for you, and you program it specifically to do certain things. But I'll be honest, I use ChatGPT all the time. Like that in itself, that consolidation of information and learning algorithm has been so helpful. Like I'm learning a whole new level of business right now. Like literally we're in the middle of it right now that I'm very inexperienced in. And we're putting me and my business partners are plugging all this information in there, and we're getting fed a lot of really good information quickly. So we're learning at this speed that I've never learned before in regards to this topic. And so that's where I'm really starting to lean into it, is that aspect of it, into the design aspect of it, because it's making design a lot easier. So I'm increasing my speed through AI currently, and that's helpful. I haven't even dove into like the AI of sales tools or things that you could probably put on your body and all the things there. I haven't dove into it enough yet because I'm still like just kind of inching my way, because I'm a personable person. I like to be in person, and I'm trying to avoid going full AI, you know.
Yeah.
But it's, and I guess we use it for customer service aspects, auto responses, filtering certain things. There's a lot of value there because that speeds up results on a lot of things. But me personally, I'm probably still only using it maybe like 20% of my day.
For sure. It reminds me of, and we're old enough to talk about when
Pre-internet?
pre-internet, right?
Oregon Trail.
Oh my goodness, man. Remember the AOL disc you had to pop in there?
So good.
Look, good old days, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, my mom would get so mad because I'd be like on AIM chat, and she couldn't get a phone call because our landline was locked into our dial-up.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, aging myself, but those are good old days.
Those are
man.
good old days, man.
Yeah.
Can't bring those back. But like obviously we're seeing such an emergence of it, and it's definitely exciting, right? Like
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, there's excitement, but there's also this fear, and it reminds me a lot of like when we did get the internet, and when we got the internet, there was still people that were just like, I'm not going to use a computer, I'm not going to do these things. There was a lot of resistance, and then what happens to those people in resistance? They phase out.
Yeah, you have to adopt it. I mean, AI is here to stay. It's going to evolve. It's going to continue to get better and better. So, I mean, truthfully, I will not resist AI. I'm going to figure out how to integrate it into my life that is useful for me, specifically in the businesses that I'm in. But yeah, I'm not all in on it yet, but
Makes sense.
it's here. It's not going away. And so if you are going to go against the grain in a way of not adopting AI, you are going to be left behind like really quick.
Yeah, there's like that specific thing around like education.
Oh yeah.
Where now we have no excuse of like not having access to the right resources, all the things. We're at a point where you have actual access for like $20 a month. You have unlimited access to this product that can get you those things. Something I've been doing uniquely, you can try this out yourself. It might sound a little freaky, is I talk to chat.
Oh, I do all the time. I named it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I gave it a name.
Exactly.
I like have a formidable relationship with chat.
Ooh, and it's quite. So I took it a different level, and I did a disc assessment. So a disc assessment, it's like essentially your highs and your lows as an individual. This is more towards like sales,
Sure.
but it was really interesting to me to put it in there to help me identify areas that I can also improve in.
Yeah.
And those conversations with chat, it's quite intriguing about other resources and tools that you can really integrate into your everyday life that don't seem out of this world in a lot of ways, but it's like we're going in that direction. Business is going in that direction. Where do you see the evolution specifically in the realms that you participate in, like from like work and entrepreneurship? Where do you think AI is going to go with it?
Oh man, it's going to be full. Like there will be one operator with a whole fleet of AI people, like without a doubt, running an entire business.
What are the consequences? What's the bad stuff that's going to happen?
I mean, I'm such a relationship person. Like I think it's going to be fine for certain commerce and businesses for sure. Like people are going to make money doing this, but like I'm a relationship guy. I think it's going to really isolate people. They're going to be awkward in person because they're so used to just interacting with like an AI agent or, telling a chat to do a certain thing where it's like, I think even now today with even gaming or whatever, they have their online life and then they have their IRL life in real life. It's like, wow, you actually separate the two. Like I only live in real life and then I do things on the internet, like it's opposite for the newest generation is they live on the internet and then they participate in real life. And so that's where I fear is going to go is people are going to get so sucked into real or like the internet life or the AI life of like not reality that they're not going to actually contribute to society or maybe just live a different life because they're going to stay at home and do nothing, own nothing, and just interact with fake things.
Yeah, that's real. We're coming to a bit of a close here, but
Is it time?
Yeah, we're
Oh
getting
man,
close.
we can keep chatting.
I know, forever, man. But I want to ask you a couple questions to really close out.
Yeah.
Are you really going to stop Run Club?
Run Club's done.
Okay.
Just kidding. There's your clip. No. Run Club's here forever. Forever. Yeah. I think I even said it on a previous video. Did you have another question on there? Or do you want
yeah, I did.
Go ahead.
Yeah. What advice do you have for that dad that is working a job, taking risks on entrepreneurship? He's really doing everything he can to create something as a creator. What advice do you have for someone that's stepping into this realm?
Congratulations, first and foremost, because a lot of people won't make that step. I think that is a very noble step to actually jump into your own world of those things because it's scary. But fear is also a mile wide and an inch deep. And I'm having to constantly remind myself of that it looks really scary because it is so wide. But if you really take a step in, it's actually only an inch deep and you can go through that. But I always just recommend to people just take it one day at a time. Like, don't be so hell-bent on a strategy or a plan, because create framework and create boundaries and have discipline. But like, just, it kind of goes back to what I was saying is like, what you do every day matters so much more than what you do every once in a while. So show up, do the things that you say you're going to do, and do the things that, and say the things that you're going to do and do the things that you're going to say. Because at the end of the day, if you don't take one day at a time, like, you get too far ahead of yourself and you spin out on things that really don't matter. So just take it one day at a time. But carve out time for yourself every day, because I think I grinded myself into the ground because I didn't do that. I stepped into entrepreneurship and running businesses at a young age, and all I did was work. And don't lose sight of the things that are most important. I made career choices and changes because I have a family and kids, and if I'm not winning at home, I'm not winning in life. And although entrepreneurship is fun and business is fun, if it's actually not contributing to my family's success and my relationship with my wife and kids, then I won't do it. And as a dad jumping into the entrepreneur space, just set yourself up by doing the things that you're going to say, or do the things that you need to do every day, because if you just do it once in a while, you're never going to succeed there. And give yourself some grace. It's hard. And then lastly, I would say, surround yourself with other good men that are going through it too. Whether that's through a run club, create like a little pod of dudes to go to the gym at 4 a.m, 5 a.m, and get your workout in. But like, surround yourself with others that are also going, or kind of through that same journey. I can definitely say without a doubt, I wouldn't be here today without people helping me in my corner and allowing me their time and energy. Because this is not me doing it. It's like there's a collective of so many people that have contributed throughout my entire life. And so I'm very fortunate that I found those people at those times. And so if you're just starting out, it's going to feel lonely, it's going to feel hard, but find some other people that are doing it too, and go through that struggle together. That's
what's up, man. And then if people want to follow you and kind of see your journey and what you do, what's the best way to follow you, man?
I'm on Instagram at Ejay O'Donnell, EJAY It says my name is Eric on there because that's my legal name, but I go by Ejay. It's always funny. I get DMs like, "What's up, Eric?" I'm like, "Gosh, it says Ejay."
Yeah.
But there was like a bunch of fake profiles, so I had to like verify myself, but it had to go through my legal name.
Yeah.
And so that's what ended up happening there.
Some doppelgangers.
But on Instagram, Ejay O'Donnell. To follow my business, dadgang.co on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Dadgang.co is our website. We have a great VIP crew too, so you can join our Facebook group and see all the things that we're doing through Dad Gang.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I exist on the internet.
That's phenomenal, man. And then if you're looking to run with us,
At Tacoma Run Club. So if you're in the Tacoma, Seattle area, we do actually get some people from all over, which is really cool.
yeah,
We have people coming out from Federal Way, Puyallup, Olympia. Every Sunday morning, we start at 7:30 a.m. We meet at Anthem, Point Ruston, at Tacoma Run Club on Instagram and on Strava. But every Sunday, rain or shine, sleet or snow, it doesn't matter. We're running. Always recommend getting there about 15 minutes early, find some parking, get stretched out. You can, our route is really awesome. It's a 0 elevation, down and back, so you pick your pace, pick your miles. So you don't have to be an experienced runner. You don't even have to run. You can show up and walk, grab a coffee, just get out into the fresh air, look at the Puget Sound. It's a great way to start a Sunday morning.
yeah, I agree, definitely. Well, EJ, man, I really appreciate just your time, your energy, and your wisdom. I know that the goal of this is to really not only just inspire people, but give them a different way of thinking, like tools and assets of highly successful people that are, in the thick of it really every single day and making stuff happen. And so, I appreciate it. My name is Kiva Geiger, and thank you.